Hello, my WGU friends. I'm jumping on to make a quick video, and this is particular to those who are from another country besides the United States. Now, if you are, you're welcome to watch this, and you might find it interesting, but it may not necessarily be relevant to you. I've made a similar video like way back in the day, probably like one of my first videos, which was about how I got accepted into WGU as an international student because they don't normally accept international students. That was more of a video to explain my initial thoughts to the process. And now, having done WGU programs, a couple of them, I can kind of just make this dedicated video so that when people ask in the comments who are from Canada, who are from Europe, or wherever, even South America, that I can just direct them to this video. This question comes up a lot, is can I apply to WGU if I'm from another country outside of America or the USA? So stay tuned if you want to learn more about that, and I will just share my experience and my thoughts around this. When I first became acquainted with WGU, it was actually through people who have done programs that were from Canada, where I'm from. And at the time, years ago, they were open to accepting international students. When I applied in 2020, I knew, because on the website it said this, that they were not accepting international students. And it has a statement. Maybe if I can find it, I'll throw it on the screen. If not, sorry, I'm sure you can find it. But it basically says that they don't accept international applicants. Now, then the question is, how did I get accepted? Or do they accept people from other countries, but they just don't advertise it? So I'm going to say that the answer to the question of can international students get accepted is yes and no. And that's not a great response, is it? But I'll explain my mentality. So you will probably get some pushback from enrollment counselors, because I remember when I first applied, I got more confusion of why I was applying, because they were thinking, oh, well, you're from Canada, like, we don't accept Canadians. But there was that confusion, which kind of indicated that maybe they were open to it. There wasn't a solid no when I applied or was trying to apply. So they basically said, let me get back to you. We will talk to our managers. They did not get back to me right away, or I don't think at all, when I first applied. And so I had to be very proactive and call again. And I said, hi, I might have an account with you already because I've been calling. I don't know if you've documented me because I've called multiple times, but my name is Justin, and I'm trying to apply from Canada. And again, they said, well, hey, normally we don't accept Canadians, so I don't think it's possible, but I don't know. And again, it was kind of confusion of like, can they accept me or not? So I said, could you please, again, try to contact your manager? I didn't hear anything back again. I emailed the same thing, and then I asked them to really just relay my email to the manager directly and CC me so that I knew. Eventually they did, but still no one got back to me. And I wasn't quite sure what the issue was. Like, why can't I just get a concrete response here? I called back once again, and somehow in the process they cleared me. I don't know who cleared me or when it happened, but I called and they said, yeah, it looks like we're fine. As long as you can get your transcripts confirmed through some sort of international assessment process, then we're okay with that. Now, I have heard from other people that they can't get to that point. When they go through the enrollment process, it's just a no, 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 no. I was applying to the Teachers College. I also experimented with the same process in the business college through the Masters of Science in Leadership and Management or whatever. And they were like, no. And that was after I have actually completed my first program at WGU. And I said, well, I already completed a program. Like, you can see that I'm already in your system. Like, why would you say no? And they were just like, no. Like, they just basically said no. And so I think it could depend on the college. Now, the question is why? Like, why is this the case? Because WGU, like, wouldn't they have a big missed opportunity here because so many people are interested in this institution? Well, if you look at the stats, WGU has a humongous student body. I mean, at this point, just if we think majority of students are American, over 100,000 students. I think I read something and it has one of the most amount of students enrolled. It's possible that they just don't have the resources to support more students. That could be one of the reasons. It could also be something around time zones, which is one of my first speculations, that that maybe that, you have to meet with your mentor regularly and you have to book appointments with your instructors. They're going to be from America. Now, if you are in a time zone like in Europe and maybe it's just totally different time zone, it may be hard to schedule appointments. However, I don't think that's the case. I really do believe that it's just more they cannot accept too many students or else they can't manage that. I mean, if you look on their careers webpage, they are always hiring staff as well, and that is not common. And it actually is kind of startling. Like, why are they hiring so many people? I think that this WGU is a huge enterprise, and they have to be able to keep up with the demand of from even just Americans who are interested in programs. Now, when I got enrolled in the second master's from the teachers college, they had no issues. They just rolled me into another program. I really didn't have to do much to apply to a second program. When I was paired with a mentor, she was actually originally from Canada. I believe she was a dual citizen or is a dual citizen. She's Canadian and American. So she was really excited that I was there as part of the college, and we had a lot of great chats. And she said that she had another Canadian enrolled in as a mentee. And so it sounds like they do here and there probably accept some students. So, and then I asked her, do you realize that, at the enrollment process, they don't generally accept international students? And she had no clue. She didn't realize that that was a barrier for non-Americans. Now, if you look through my videos here and there, you'll see comments of people from other parts of the world. I think there were a few people from Venezuela, some people from Canada. There was, I think, one person from Germany, and they were all inquiring about this, and some of them tried to get through the process. And I believe a few of them were able to. So maybe a certain degree of persistence helped. I suppose you can try and then stop if it just, you get a hard no, and then try again, maybe down the road. And you're paired with a different enrollment counselor that is a little bit more open to creating a case for yes. Now, once you get enrolled, let's say you are an international student and they did say yes, no one will care. No one will question you on that. You are in the program. You're a student. They're not going to look at you as whatever country you're from. They're just going to think of you as like everyone else. So that was my experience as an international student. I know some aren't as kind of lucky as I am, and I think luck does play a big mark in this. So I hope you get the chance, if you're from another country, to take part in WGU. I think it's a great institution. You can even search on LinkedIn and you can see, are there other people from your country who have done it as well, and maybe kind of pulling together names and cases and then sharing that with an enrollment counselor and saying, hey, look, I'm not the only one from my country that's interested or gone through this process. So do what you can, be persistent, try your best. At the end of the day, if it's a no, maybe look into universities like Capella, or UMPI has some undergrad degrees that are competency-based. You could try that as well. Yeah, so hopefully this video was helpful, or at least gives you an indication of my experience, and I hope to see you in another video.